Welcome back to Steve's Project Car Garage. My name is Steve, and well, this is my garage. Today I'm giving you the much needed update that I promised you guys a few weeks ago when I released my last video. I released the last video just before the holidays, and well, something dropped into my lap that I really couldn't say no to, and it kind of threw a wrench in the works as far as what I was planning for the remainder of the month for the videos. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and show you what distracted me so much. Stick around, it's going to be good. Well, this is it. This is what's distracted me for the last few weeks. A couple of weeks ago, my wife found this amazing set of cabinets on the marketplace for 50 bucks, which honestly is a deal that you can't beat. And then on top of it being 50 bucks, it was literally right around the corner, so it was a double win. So what this has done is given me so much more space to work with, a lot more organization, and I'm just going to go ahead and show you around real quick and kind of give you an overview of the shop and a couple of updates we've done besides this. Alright, so to start the tour, I never really talked about this tool chest, but this is a tool chest that I've got here to kind of house a couple of good odds and ends. Some grinding stuff. I got all my grinder equipment in here. Some wire cutters, some cutoff tools, all kinds of just random stuff. And I got my Thor's drawer down here of just hammers and odds and ends. So we got this tool chest, which is always nice. It's kind of lived in this corner, which is perfect. And then over here I've got this tool chest, which again, just more odds and ends. Like right now I got all these sockets and drivers in it, and then this drawer is kind of empty at the moment, but then down here I got a bunch of random odds and ends, and then down here I got like some saws and whatnot. And then up here I've got a more odds and ends drawer down here, some punch wrenches, some pliers, cutters, stuff like that. And then over here, I got my bench grinder. Of course, you guys know the MIG welder. You're all familiar with that. I got this tool box that was given to me by my father-in-law. This thing is fantastic. Again, it's helping me with a bit of organization. Still got some improvements to go, but it's getting there. But over here, this is kind of like the biggest change, really. So previously, I had all of these shelves, which are over here now. Up along this wall and in this corner, and these shelves had a lot of just junk on it, and so we went ahead and got rid of a ton of stuff. We're actually able to bring all the Christmas stuff that was in the attic and bring it downstairs, park it over here. But in here, I've got a ton of room for activities. So I gotta still figure out what my organization is gonna be like on these, but I've got some basic things going, but I got all of this open room. So, you know, I got drawers for storage and assortment. Obviously got the TV and sound system down here. So now I have some really good sound when I want to jam out and knock out some work. I've got a bunch of things in here for storage. And then some more storage stuff. And again, I've really got to go through and try to organize this all a bit better, but you know, I got a couple of my tools there. Down here, I've got another storage unit. I got to come up with some good stuff to put in there. And then in here, this is where I keep pretty much all the chemicals and stuff. I've really got to do a better job though and look at this and just make sure that this stuff is okay to be together, because if it's not, then I've got to figure that out. Of course, we have an important fire extinguisher. One of the other big things I did too was move the air compressor back into this corner, which kind of frees up a little bit of space. The only problem is that in order for me to drain it, I've got to move the toolbox. So that wasn't the brightest of moves on my part, but that's what it is. Over here, I've got all my new metal next to the crane, which will be used to go ahead and separate the body and the frame and also pull the engine when that time comes around. So we got a lot of the more family stuff over here for the most part, which is all in tubs and totes, which is good. And then over here we've got the shop. And this is really what you guys are going to be seeing the most of on the videos. Pretty cool. So back over here, we have the garage door, which is nothing to write home about. I've got some really crappy like foam core board that I put in here to try to help insulate, but it was just left over from another project and never really put in all that well. So I'm going to be pulling that out, and I actually have on order some NASA Tech from US Energy insulation, which is supposedly some of the best in the market, and it's white. So I'm going to be getting that on Thursday and insulating this. And also I'm putting in new weather stripping here on the outside of the garage door. So that way I get a good seal, then I'll be replacing the seal on the bottom. So that should definitely help when it comes to the summer. Because, well, if you remember last summer, it was just way too hot to even try to do anything in the garage. So that's kind of an idea of, what we're going to do in the next week or so. So as far as the Spitfire is concerned, we really haven't done anything. The car was actually covered with stuff throughout the process because I needed the room, and when I had to move all these cabinets over and the shelving unit over, I really didn't have any space in the garage for anything, so unfortunately the Spitfire kind of got buried. But it is now back out. I even wiped it down. You can kind of get a little bit of a shine on it. You can actually see that there's some pretty paint underneath here. So in the last video I had promised to do an update on the car, and it's kind of like a one-year recap of what's been going on and where we're at. And so this whole project has kind of occupied my time, but now I'm in a position where I can go ahead and get this done for you guys. So it was a year ago, it was December 21st, where I went ahead and I posted my first video on YouTube for the car. I had actually posted some stuff prior, but that was all just, junk. And this is kind of where we're at. So when I started out, I got the car, I wanted to go ahead and restore it and at least get it recommissioned to go back on the road. That led to me going down a rabbit hole and kind of discovering more problems with the car. I discovered a lot of rot. If you remember back on the heel board section where the trailing arms and all that connected, it was completely rotten and had a horrible job done on it by the previous owner. So we decided that it was time to tear in. We had my buddy Chris come over. He and I tore in, took the sills off, discovered the real depth of the problem. And then I came up with the decision to go ahead and actually just take it all out and start over. So I went ahead and I ordered a bunch of new parts. I went ahead and got new floor pans and new sills, new heel board, new A-posts, B-post replacement pieces. And I just kind of dove right in, took the doors off, stripped the car down completely, and started to dive in. I started on the driver's side, and when I started on the driver's side, things were going pretty well, but then summer crept in and it started getting really hot. So, progress had really kind of slowed down. I got the driver's side, though, completed, and then I started to move in onto the passenger side in the fall, and that's kind of where things picked back up. Got the passenger side knocked out, and then I finished up with the crossmember process. Now that the crossmember was done, and I went ahead and finished up with the actual parcel shelf for the most part, just with the big patches that I was working on. And last video, I started to test fit the heel board. So yeah, you know what? It has taken me a year to get to this point, but I'm happy with it. Of course, I would love to see it go faster, but the reality is that I'm a dad. I have a full-time job, and I'm able to only come out here a little bit each day, or even this, each week, really. So some days I'm able to come out and spend an hour or two. Sometimes I can't. But that brings me to my New Year's resolution. I don't ever really make New Year's resolutions. Most people make New Year's resolutions to work out or do this or that and get better, healthier. My resolution, though, this year is to spend 5 hours a week working on this car. That's what I ultimately want to do. The way that I plan on doing that is to come out and spend an hour a night after work, or just at least 1 hour a night throughout the week to come out and do that. And so that leaves me with 2 nights to kind of goof off. But then on 5 nights of that week, I need to go ahead and crack in and get going on this. So with that being said, my video format might change a little bit. Instead of doing, one session where I just show you everything I'm doing in one session out here in the garage, I'm probably going to go ahead and do a little bit of work, show you a recap, do a little bit of work, show you a recap. And so with that, I hope that you guys have enjoyed tonight's recap and tonight's kind of update on the garage. I'm super stoked. It seems like every time I give you guys a garage update, it's always kind of something big. Last time was the workbench. This time we have this beautiful setup of shelves and cabinetry and organization, which is the big thing. So if you haven't done so already, I definitely ask you please go ahead and hit that thumbs up, click the bell to get post notifications, and of course smash that subscribe button. We're knocking on 400 subscribers, and I'm super stoked, and I thank you all for sticking with me throughout this progress in this project. I hope that by the end of winter I'll have the body separated from the frame, but it's never good to set deadlines and promises, as I've shown throughout the course of this series. But that's kind of what I'm aiming for. We'll see. It's currently January 3rd, so I've got at least a good 3 months or so ahead of me of decent weather before it starts getting ridiculously hot. But even then, hopefully, the insulation on the garage door will help keep things cooler in here. So I hope you all have a great night. Thanks so much for watching. Cheers.